If we must take governance seriously, we must do something about including our brothers and sisters in the diaspora for many reasons. We have heard about all kinds of statistics, especially around the kind of money that the diaspora attracts every year. Some say that 83% of our national budget is what the diaspora attracts to Nigeria represents. Some say that it is 11 times higher than our entire basket in terms of foreign direct investment. Others believe that about $30 billion is 2 times our oil revenue. My interest this morning, curiously, will not focus on this money because we don't see it in Abia. And it doesn't make sense, really, for us in Abia, the common person in the market, that as much as $30 billion, but we are concerned about other things which we can do with our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. Because in the first place, why did they leave? Some will say for golden fleece. Look at it in another way. It could be just to get some knowledge, some education, and some could be for greener pastures, to look for fairer grounds. But it doesn't matter how you look at it. One thing that is important is that there is a change from what or who they were before they left and who they have become, to become very good members of their new environment or their new community. Therefore, our interest is in the repatriation of their expertise rather than the repatriation of the money. Because either way, both of them are not mutually exclusive. Whether we do something or not, the money will come. But the important thing is, what do we do with the money? And I leave that with the CBN and all those who think about what to do with money. They believe that we can use the kind of money that comes in to even recalibrate the variance in the exchange rates and all of that. I leave that to them. My interest is, how do I get back the neurosurgeons? How do I get back the engineers? How do I get them to come back and let their experience rub off on the kind of things we are doing in Abia? And I must commend NIDCOM so far for setting the tone, because it has to be a template that will enable the diaspora community to begin to think of coming home. Because the rumor out there about how bad things have become in Nigeria also affects them one way or the other. I'll tell you a story. In 2015, I was sitting in a meeting in Atlanta where we went to look for support in terms of poetry, because we heard then that Atlanta was the poetry capital of the world. And sitting in the audience were Nigerians, and some came with their friends. And I had to tell them there that I'm not interested in appealing to Mr. Johnson White to come to Abia to invest, because he will not come unless his friend Obi, who is sitting beside him, have come. So why should I talk to Johnson White instead of Obi to come first, and by his influence help me encourage Johnson White to join? And they told me in response about how things have become so bad that some of them are not safe, and they feel that if they... And I asked, when did you come home last? Unfortunately, that day, from about 6 a.m. in the morning, when I looked at the screen, the TV, I saw that one young man in Atlanta had gone to a shop and shot somebody, and the helicopter had gone up. The ground troops were chasing the man. For 3 hours, they were still running around chasing him. And I said to him, this kind of thing doesn't happen every day in Abia. Somebody coming into a shop and shooting somebody. But here you are also at, So insecurity cannot be the only reason, because all of us are not dead, and we are doing something every day to make sure that it gets better. But in all, I think that the most important thing is that we were able to understand that the first thing to do is to have a diaspora office in Abia. In fact, actually, Dr. Irondo started by chairing the Abia Brain Trust. She had to take time to look at all Abians everywhere, what they do and how well they are doing, what they do there and what their interests were. And my first cabinet had three diasporans. I had Commissioner for Health from Scotland, Commissioner for Education from Canada, and so on and so forth. And the partnership continued. But today, I'm proud to say that what you hear me say a few moments from now will include the intervention of the diaspora, especially in trade fairs, education, health, and capacity building. In education, I've said it earlier that we started with a commissioner for education from Canada. But today, we have retrained over 3,000 teachers, primary school teachers in Abia State, leveraging the support of a diasporan from Australia, who gladly returned to Abia with about 6 of our colleagues, and they were running programs in streams. Today, that has culminated in the establishment of a teacher continuing training center in Abia State, which means that we no longer have the problem of primary school teachers that can't solve math of primary 4 pupil. Having said that, we have enjoyed scholarships, and today we are sending about 50 Abians to Australia for a postgraduate program because that same diasporan was able to get 50% rebate on the school fees from some universities in Australia. In health, I think we have had far more profound impact of the diasporans because we run a health system that takes care of the vulnerable first. So we have a program of taking care of people above 70 years in the villages, and we call it our geriatric outreach, and it is free. And the person that is anchoring this geriatric outreach is Dr. Chuck from Ikuano. That was what he used to do in Dallas, in the United States, and then he came home and helped us set up by training nurses, community health nurses, community health workers. We have offices in 3 senatorial districts, offices in every local government, using keke and every available means of transport to reach our old people. And the impact of that effort is so profound. They met somebody in his home, almost dying out of diabetics, so had nobody to take care of him. They had to take care of the patient and then take him to the closest primary health care center for further care. This has been wonderful, and I commend Dr. Chuck for that effort. We also have an Abia emergency response team, which is handled by another critical care practitioner from Indiana. And he has set up with about 6 ambulances now, and it is connected with a telephone line that when you dial, the police will be alerted, the ambulance will be on call, and they can go fetch that individual. And this is specific for people that can go down with cardiovascular accident or in case of any emergency. They are also very important, and that has been also a very great success for us in Abia. But the other one which I must mention is medical supplies. Through the support of our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, Abia has received more than 20 40-feet containers of all kinds of medical equipment, which we distribute to primary health care centers, general hospitals, and even the teaching hospital. Then again, it's important that I mention here that we have a program which we call Education for Employment, which is anchored by somebody from the UK, Dr. Zengwa. And what it does is to segregate our youths according to their interests, skill sets, and qualifications, and then go ahead to teach them one skill or the other, from computer appreciation to even things as rigorous as carpentry. And today, Abia has a database of more than 3,000 youths segregated according to skill sets, their qualification, and the kind of things they do. And we draw from that pool from time to time if we have vacancy for employment in our local governments. So I want to say that for us in Abia, our interest is not only in the kind of money they bring. We have completely integrated and included them in the things we do every day. And I want to thank our sister, Abia, for the great effort she put in place, especially when we had people coming back from Libya and South Africa. Abia State had its fair share of those individuals that returned, and I'm proud to announce to us here that with the efforts of our diaspora focal person, we were able to take them in, counsel them, and then some of them today, as I speak, are involved in one trade or the other. Some are into farming, some of them are into shoemaking, and some of them are involved in tailoring. We are happy to announce that if we did not have a diaspora office in place, it would have been difficult for us to take them in and assimilate them quickly into our society. So I want to recommend to us other states that are yet to key into the diaspora initiative to please do it, because there's quite a lot to benefit and gain by establishing, one, a diaspora office, having a proactive diaspora person to do two things quickly. One is that you'll be able to understand and water down and cascade down whatever policies that are coming from the federal government, and also focus on specific issues that you want to target on for the development of your state. Once again, I want to commend the sacrifices of all of you, all the money you've been sending, and now your willingness and determination to join us as you repatriate your expertise to help us develop this place, because we don't have another country apart from Nigeria. No, it is not easy, but you have shown that at least it can be done. Thank you and God bless you.